Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing on the agenda is the board roll call. We have 5 members of the 7-member board here for a quorum. We have Lynn, Peter, Jim, Louis, and Doug. So we have 5 members of the board present, and our liaison, Peggy, is also here. So that's the roll call, and I signed it. We can take that back.
Thank you.
Okay. The public comment. Anyone have a public comment?
Yes, Marty does.
Okay. When you get 3 minutes?
Start the timer.
I got it in my head.
All right, so on your agenda today is about painting the bridges. Okay, so I have a lot of questions about that. Considering we just repainted all the monuments, are we changing the colors on the bridges? Are we going to match the colors on the monuments? We only had pictures of 2 of the bridges. Okay, you had the picture of the one going over Pelican Preserve Boulevard. You had a picture of the one going over to Matarita. Pistoia? Well, no, not Pistoia. Pistoia was missing. So when you go around the circle to down Cypress, the first bridge that you go over there was a picture of that one and Pelican Preserve Boulevard. Pistoia was missing. I know Trias is not really a bridge, but are we planning on doing that? Because I believe the HOA Association already painted that. Another thing is have we engaged the community on the colors? Because you know we got a lot of flack for the colors on the monuments after they started to get painted, but we didn't get any feedback from the community. Are we painting below the water line? So are we going to drop the pond level to do that? Are we going to put in cofferdams so we can paint below the water line? So I know when we had the bridges inspected, okay, it was cheaper to hire divers than it was to put in cofferdams.
I think there's a lot of questions, even more than what you did. Where we're at right now, we don't have a plan. Okay? I'll be honest. We don't have a plan. I seen it on the agenda. I think you put it on the agenda, Paul. This started probably a year and a half ago when one of the residents came forward, talked about all the mold not on the front of the flowway. It was on the flowway.
Yep. And
Daniel took that, and nothing really occurred. Well, and then Paul just put that agenda item on there, and there was the bridges and pictures you've seen came. There needs to be a plan, but I really didn't even know when it was going to be sprayed, the mold was going to come off the flowway. It was not the ponds group that was doing that. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and there's no plan right now. So we need one, and I'll engage you.
So I know Daniel was instrumental in getting the bridges inspected.
Yeah.
So the inspection requirement for the FDOT is, depending on the span, it's either every 3 years or every 5 years. So, and I don't know where we are, how many years it's been since we inspected.
Okay, we need to move on because we got some members that have to leave.
3 minutes is up.
That's all I got.
I apologize for being late. I may have missed something, but my question also had to do with the bridges. My question is, how does this get to the Ponds Committee? Is it responsible?
Well, I have that same question. I know, it's a good question, Joe. I'm glad you brought it up.
My other question is it in the Ponds budget for that?
No.
No. Okay.
It's probably in no one's budget, let's be honest.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. That's 1 minute.
Okay. No, that was less than a minute, and it's a topic that I liked your comment. I don't always like your comment, Joe, but I did like that one.
I can praise and I can be critical.
Yeah. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. I'm going to go with Peggy, not Peggy, Carol, what she does at the Board of Supervisors. She lumps them together and says, is there any comments or corrections on A and B from the minutes? On the hard copy, we have a copy. It was posted. Does anyone have any corrections?
I did not see
Okay.
anything.
Can I ask for a motion to approve A and B?
Second.
Okay, now vote.
Aye.
Okay. See, that's a lot faster. I like it. In fact, you do contracts that way. I'm amazed. Okay. The next thing is the financials. I don't. It looks as though we overspent by $139,000 last year, but we did two bank restorations, and PPAC had approved us to be able to do both. We only had budget for one. They had approved us an additional $200K that was never ended up in showing on the budget. So we had up to $200K. They weren't going to give us more money than we spent, but we had up to $200K. So it looks as though we overspent, but that we had I don't know what you call it, an IOU? I don't know what you would call what it was, but
Our approach to this is that in between all the areas that we've got within our budget, that we'll be able to make that up without any issue.
yeah. And as you can see on that, the pump bank improvements is overspent by $148,000. Okay?
So,
That went into my backyard.
Yeah, that went into your, so it was okay, right?
Perfect.
What do you even say?
Chairman, if I could just clarify, and for the record, Paul Flores, Public Works Director, Gateway Services. We are reviewing 3 months. This is May statements. This is June, and this is July. So this is the latest and greatest.
Yeah, but the bottom
Right.
line, the 148 overspent on restoration and the overspent at the bottom of 139 are the same on all three of those reports. Okay? If there are any questions on the board on any of that? Okay? The next thing is the task authorization. Jim, do you want to say a little bit about that? Or I know it was a not to exceed number for the next pond we do.
Right, so this is for the bank restoration. This will be the fourth pond. We had used Tetra Tech's metrics, also looking at what ponds are border on a street, trying to prioritize ones that are higher visibility than ones that are landlocked. So this one's next in line. It is a rather big pond. It is between Carina and Julia off of Cypress Grove.
Carina, it's between the neighborhoods of Carina and Azura.
No, it's on the other side. Yeah.
There is no pond. Well, no, that's my pond. We're not touching my pond.
Okay, I got it.
This
All
is
right.
the one,
43.
yes,
Okay,
43.
the encapsulated within Karina, right?
This one is Carina on both sides.
Okay.
It was, with the size, it is over the budget for the ITQ process. So this will be funded over 2 years. So this is a formal bid process. We have Tetra Tech working on the engineering to go out to bid, but I think we have to vote to authorize moving forward to send this out to bid.
That's correct.
We are looking to have it done this season, this winter, this dry season. And with the formal bid, we do need to get ahead of that, so that's why we called this special meeting. So we are running around at the last minute.
Okay. We, as a group, earlier this, I don't know if it's the end of last year, beginning of this year, approved to do 43 as a group. The PPAC approved $600,000 with some type of borrowing from whatever. I call it reserves, but we're borrowing $300K. Our budget looks like we get $600K, but we're paying it back $300K next year. That's already been approved at PPAC. So what we need approval is to get, like he says, a formal bid. We need approval of the task authorization to get Tetra Tech to start on the engineering work, and that's to not to exceed, I think the contract was 18K. That's in there. It's not to exceed 18K. So we need to have a proposal to recommend that we do a motion to have Tetra Tech do the work to start the process for Pond 43 so that we can go to formal bid, and it's a not to exceed 18K.
Well, not the formal bid. The formal bid would be
No, I
600.
mean, the task
Tetra Tech is already
authorization,
done. Tetra Tech is already done. That's already.
I don't think we approved the 18K yet. We haven't
Already.
paid.
Yes,
We've
this is for the design, and just to clarify, Mr. Chairman, it's $18,060 is the dollar amount. But
Okay.
this is for the design and bidding assistance and limited construction
Right.
services.
So I'll make a motion to accept this task authorization.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, vote.
Aye.
So to be clear, we've already had the engineering done. The engineering phase of this, correct?
Well, this will be the design. This does include design.
I think we're going to use a lot of the tech specs that were done on the smaller ponds, because the material and how we go about it
Okay.
is going to be the same thing. So they're not going to go through what type of, dirt, rock, whatever, all those type of things. Right, but they are going to go and inspect the banks to see if the easement is anything within the easement that would prevent us from doing the restoration, and those type of things are going to be done. So
And
that's why
the
it's
part
not,
where the homeowners will be informed if they have
Right.
anything pitching.
that's all part of this, okay? And then they'll be responsible to get us some bids back. Okay? The next thing on the agenda, I don't know who's going to talk the most, is the staff gauges. I'll just say one thing, we have some today out there that measure the water level of the ponds. I think you said there was 5 in Pelican, give or take.
Yes.
Give or
I
take.
show 5 from Eric Pryor.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are solar powered and it does some measurements. We've
Well-
had them for quite a while, actually.
The staff gauges themselves are just like a ruler against the pond, and it tells you the pond level the water level.
That's all.
Versus a data logger is the equipment with the solar panel
So-
measuring flow. and
So
stuff
with
like
the
that.
staff gauge, you still got to go out and manually look at the
Yes.
pond. Okay.
But you can use your staff gauge to calibrate your data logger so you can read it from a computer.
Okay.
Something like that.
So this is like buying 5 or 9 rulers to stick in the pond?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I hope that isn't that much money.
And how much is it?
Mr. Chairman, if I could just...
You can call me Doug.
Okay. Oh, you're the chairman of the committee.
He keeps looking around to see who you're talking to.
I just want to give everyone, the committee, and for those residents that are in attendance. So the district was already working on a staff gauge project. There were 17 in total, 5 of which are in Pelican Preserve. So just recently, Jim had reached out to Stephanie and myself to inquire about adding 4 additional. So the purpose of this is to add these additional 4 staff gauges to the 5 that we're planning and trying to move forward to try to get completed next year.
Do you have on your side? Do you have a budget for that, or do you know about what those rulers will cost?
I think I'm not really sure. It hasn't gone out yet. We're still working on the whole package and everything. but-
Do you have
Well,
any idea?
no, well, I could kind of share that just because we need surveys.
Yeah.
Of the 17 that we were working on right now, 9 of them need a survey for a benchmark. And those are running about $4,000 a piece to do those surveys alone. And then for construction to install the actual staff gauges would be an additional cost to that.
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
we
that's quite a bit.
that
For
we
a ruler.
don't. Yeah, so that's an addition to the benchmark. So just to kind of give an estimate of what's going to cost to do those additional
So,
4.
I mean, I'm going to pull a number out of there, but what you just say, that $5,000 a piece, that'd be $45,000 for 9.
I have a question. How often do we read those and who reads them? Who reads the rules? Because I know on pond 7, when I collect the water, there's one sitting there. I just thought it was rulers. I checked the level, but I don't know who reads them or
So-
how often they're read.
Fair comment.
The only time water levels that we do, the ponds group does, is during the process of a hurricane or a high rain, whatever. We go around and look at the water level. You know, we got certain ponds we go to and look at how much is going over the flow.
Many times you can do it visually. You just look
It's all
pretty
visual.
high.
It's all visual.
We got a problem.
Yeah. So Jim, were you thinking it was going to be this, about this amount of money?
No, so, well, my, before our discussion with Gateway, it was curiosity. It was trying to see, okay, is there a couple of places around the community close to where the last pond is and the farthest pond, because the ponds are all interconnected. It was curiosity to see whether you lower the weir a foot, how fast does the first pond deflect that? How about 4 ponds away that feeds into it? What is the rate that it levels out to the new, to what we're looking to do? And as well as after a heavy rainstorm, if we're able to go and drive over. But these were locations picked along the side of a roadway, so they were easy to access. Had nothing to do with the with the gateway data loggers or anything like that. I had reached out to Scott Copeland, and he provided me with a bid, and that's when I sent it to Dave, and that's where we found out that, unbeknownst to us, there was other equipment going in to use to calibrate the data loggers. So I would, at this point with that cost, I would take mine off the table, because again, curiosity is one thing, but it's not worth it. Spending $5,000 times 4 just for curiosity's sake. If it's something that after the fact, I'll say we decide to proceed with, that doesn't require the level of detail the gateway needs to do the calibrating, so that's a different requirement. They have to have it very accurate. I would say, I could relook at that in another year or so.
Cam, we can do a recommendation. Staff will have a recommendation of what you want to proceed with 5 in Pelican. When I read that, that's what staff wants to do. The ponds group could have a different recommendation. And then PPAC would have to evaluate those 2 recommendations. And then they make a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors that actually would vote on that and make that decision.
Might I ask that potentially you guys link up before you get this formal recommendation and just talk through the spots that in Pelican you're talking about, so we can avoid some of that activity?
Well, I know where all of the data loggers are. I got that information from Stephanie. I find it all on the GIS. So all that was easy to identify once I knew what to look for.
Right.
The location of them is not always convenient for just doing a drive-by and get out and look up at the pond and look at it. So, which was, one of my things. Easy is good.
What I was going to say, the years I've been in the ponds group, I don't know what year they went in, Bob, you can chime in here too, but whenever they went in, we have never used the data, being the ponds group or Pelican Preserve, have never used that data like during a hurricane or during heavy rain and stuff like that.
Bob, it went in because of idle curiosity, and the focus was more on how low to make rather than how high. And then when we installed the rain gauges, which actually measure the rainfall, these things probably should have fallen off the table. The rain gauge is important.
I was going to say, Jim, back to your point, if I went, because I go around during hurricanes every day and check how much goes over the flow of the weirs, right? It'd be helpful to have some type of on the actual weir, some type of gauge, because right now, I try to get as close to the top of that weir as possible.
Yeah.
And measure how much water is going over, and is that more or less than it was yesterday. It'd be good to have something on the side of the weir, just as simple as with a marker of 1 foot, 2 feet, and so on, so that I don't have to, or someone doesn't have to get that close to be able to measure that. Because what I measure more than anything is the water out of the flowway, how high is it going over the weir, and what number of streets have water standing in them. Those are the two things that, when a hurricane or heavy rains, those are the two things that we measure.
Once you've crested the weir, what difference does it make? It's beyond the top of the
Well,
weir.
But
You
the
know,
only thing there, though, is it is helpful to know if the water level is in the flowway is increasing overnight or decreasing. You know,
Up to the concrete that supports the weir, yes.
yeah.
Once it crests the top,
Oh, over the,
over the barrier, right?
Well,
yeah.
what we usually measured was how much over the barrier was it in that morning. So we knew it was increasing or decreasing over the night. And we were doing some of that, Bob, so that we could, that was before we had the flexibility. It seems like we have now to lower the weirs,
Yes.
the adjustable weirs.
This all started before we had adjustable weir.
Right. And the truth of it is, we knew there was a problem, but there was nothing we could do about it. Jim, you want to make a
I've always
recommendation?
been second of the height of the water. I just had a hole in my backyard.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Jim, you want to give us a recommendation of what we do? And we'll vote on what.
Okay, well, since the gauges are needed to validate your data loggers, and we have access. If we reach out, we can see, okay, it's in the dry season. We're 2 feet below, control level, because that's basically what we're looking to see, and then have something to compare it to, maybe a prior year. So I recommend taking off the ones that you were adding in for my curiosity's sake. Proceed with the ones that the data loggers,
So you recommend we do the 5.
the 5 that you need to round it to.
And that would be 5 times probably 5, which would be $25,000 out of our budget, right?
Because this is
Yeah, roughly.
Their initiative, though.
Huh?
Their initiative.
right,
Yes,
because
it's-
they're
it's-
doing
Yeah, they're going
it
to come
throughout
back.
Gateway.
It's going to go underneath all 2 ponds if they do this, I would believe. Correct? I mean,
Yes,
that's
it
what
would
I
come back, it
read.
would have to come back to the subcommittees and.
It's not free
And
for us.
the board for a final approval.
Do you change your recommendation?
So from Gateway, the data loggers, is this information important
And what are you
For-
going to do with it?
for you? And right, how
Yeah.
often is it checked, and what
Yeah.
what is the benefit
So
risk?
a lot of our data loggers are either they're all strategically placed, so whether it's on a weir or
And you can see them on the screen.
or a major outfall. So the ones that are going to
Not
be
yellow.
put in Pelican, they're the red ones there. Those, all your ponds flow into our flowway and then out. So the data loggers track along the flowway, how it's changing and stuff like that. We do, especially at Weir 2, that's our final outfall before it crosses over. That one does get reported to Lee County, and we have MPDS permit requirements and stuff like that to how much we can expel and stuff like that. So the staff gauges are important for that level.
they've never been important to us. Okay, maybe you could give us a plan of how we can use that data. Because I don't know, one of them's right here. That little pond on the beach.
On the beach, yeah.
I don't know what that's measured for. I mean, that's one of our
Can you go
smallest
back to
ponds.
This one.
This one.
This one
So
right
there's the direction, the water flow direction. for each of the basins.
See, isn't this one where, is it, no, where is it at?
These are
This is
the,
it right there.
That's it right there.
That's it right there. So, I mean, that has a data logger on it.
Right. So that feeds, a number of ponds feed into that. That's feeding up to pond
2.
2, which then goes under tree line.
And there is a data logger, and there would be a staff gauge out by
Right.
Colonial as well.
Right.
Pond 1.
So, your motion, I'll call the motion,
So-
is to proceed with the 5.
Is to proceed with the 5. There is a requirement of providing data to the governing entities, and this will validate the information that you have to provide them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, but I would like, though, to be able to, we being the ponds group, to be able to use that data for something too.
right. So
And right now, we
can
don't.
look at it, further investigate where it is, see if, what will satisfy the curious cat in this. Is it something that periodically I'd say, I don't know, is there something that you can compare over time levels or year after year? Things like that, I could distribute out to the people involved in the ponds group, and it gives them an idea of, yes, the ponds are lower than this year than they were the last 5 years, or, it's all flowing even. There's no big changes.
Yeah, my nickel's worth is, since you can't influence it, you're just recording it, I would do the absolute minimum. I wouldn't spend a nickel more than that.
Well, that's 5.
But you can't influence it one way or the other.
Well, okay. Is that your motion?
So
Is it
and
do
this
5?
is needed to provide that information to, so we're kind of have to do this. Otherwise, the governing entities can question what we're,
Okay.
how are you telling me that you're in
Yeah.
scope if, your data is not accurate?
Yeah, I would say maybe not every single one would be a requirement, but if we're doing one, I think the whole scheme of this is we're going to do them all, because some of them already have staff gauges, but they're all warped, and you're not getting accurate data, so they're going through.
Are any of the
Yeah.
ponds that we have, this is maybe off, any of the ponds that we have are 5 that we need surveying?
They all.
yes,
Okay.
they all.
Even the
all
ones
five.
that already have a gauge that's warped?
So it's going to be
Yeah.
25?
Yes, that's the thing is, our budget's 800K, so 25,000, that's not in the budget, it's not a small number.
And just for the record, that was a quote that we just recently received about a month or 2 ago. It could be less than that.
Yeah, but it gives
Right,
you a good
it's- yeah, it
ballpark
gives you a
number,
good
it's not
ballpark.
gonna be 2,000.
Right.
Okay, Jim, let's put, this is 4th time I asked you that.
Okay. How many of these are needed for outflows?
Required.
I would
Required.
say you got Weir 2 and Weir 3. I would say those are the only 2 in Pelican that
That are
absolute.
critical.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we have 5. One on Pond 51, which is a
Yeah.
Prado Drive.
Yeah.
Second one is Conservation Area 2, which is a Eviano Drive. The third one is Pond 19, Town Center, Veneto Drive. And then the Colonial Country Club Boulevard behind Winn-Dixie is the 4th one. And the last one is Pond 38.
but with the 2, on the weirs, if we did those 2, we would be able to set aside state reporting
Yeah.
requirements? Okay. Now can we do, or do you want me to do the motion? What?
Doug, if I could just clarify with Stephanie. So the 5 were strategically placed so that we would get good data. So, I think at bare minimum we wanted to stay with the 5, but the committee
Right.
can entertain less than that.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the 5 data loggers, to support the 5 data loggers to validate the information that they're getting, even though 2 of them are supplying directly to the state. Gateway feels there is value in maintaining the other 3 So I will make a motion to accept those 5.
Is there a second?
Pete Audette, second.
Do I have a vote? I'll say nay. It's the first time I've ever said nay on one.
That's usually Lou.
Yeah, you. Okay, you got what you need on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The painting, I think to start with, we just determine to make sure we are, the bonds group is responsible for it, and to develop a plan, working with Marty, that if we are responsible, even if we aren't responsible, you could still help whoever is responsible to build a plan. Because Marty knows more about bridges than anyone else, so we'll use that information. All right? And I don't know what else to say about that.
So, Doug, if I could just give everyone some background information. So, this item was brought forward to the Safety and Security Subcommittee, and unfortunately, we were unable to address this matter because of the agenda, the length of time, and we were going over time. So, ultimately, the committee recommended that this item should be under ponds, not under the Safety and Security. So, that is just to give you some reason as to why this agenda is being brought forward. Now, I do want to kind of, provide some options. One is that the district is looking at potentially just pressure washing all the 2 flowway structures and the bridge. I think at bare minimum, I think we could try to do that, just to see.
Is that with the maintenance group?
Yes, that's with the maintenance group. But understand, as I tried to explain to the Safety and Security Subcommittee, is that it does require some additional equipment, and that's what we're trying. That is the reason for
it's
the
a higher
yes.
volume or whatever, higher pressure nozzle.
It's a little more complicated than pressure washing the sidewalks and the pavers.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
The second thing is that I have tried to get some inquiries from potential vendors on the repainting of the bridge, and I'm not getting much success. I'll be honest with you. And to Marty's comment regarding the analysis on the bridges are sound structurally, but the issue is the stucco, especially on the Pelican Bridge. Some of the stucco is already coming off. So if we ever get to the point where we're going to repaint the bridge, it will require putting new stucco and going with waterproofing paint if that's the direction and if that's the recommendation by the vendor. So there's a little more complexities to that. So I just kind of want to share and provide some background information on this. So.
Thank you for coming.
No,
I would say, how do we get a formal ruling? Whether is it the PPAC that does that, is the Board of Supervisors? Someone's got to say, because I could basically stand up there and say, oh, I think it's not us, we should transfer it over to Mark and Landscape. But the thing is, it needs to be done.
Right.
And it's just, no one has it in their budget to do it.
So-
None of the 3 subgroups would have that in their budget to do that. We just need to know how it's going to get paid, and the how might be the easier part, is just to figure out who is responsible for those bridges to maintain them.
Right, because that gets into a bigger question of really the bridge maintenance, the road maintenance, infrastructure maintenance. What group would be responsible to say that Pelican Reserve Boulevard needs to be ground up and repaved,
That's
or
safety.
the curbs need to be
Safety.
replaced?
That's safety and security.
Somebody with that role, this is obviously an infrastructure, should be something that is being saved for on a planned basis, that there's a bridge has a lifespan of 50 years, but it needs maintenance every 10 or whatever.
Yeah, cut to the chase and just go back to tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
I may have to bring it up.
Okay.
Bring it up and tell us what group does it.
Yeah.
I don't think we should get involved in this, because otherwise it's a slippery slope, and we'll start having everything.
If PPAC says it's our responsibility in the ponds group, we will address it. If PPAC says it's safety and security, we'll address it. But it's got to be one. I would think it'd have to be one of the 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last time we had the bridges inspected, we had a complete report on their lifespan
Right.
and their durability and what maintenance needs to be done. So that was
Okay.
really good.
Who did that? Who paid for that? Did the district?
No.
PPAC did, and it wasn't part of any of the three, it was just at a higher level. Okay. I guess what we said, we tabled that one.
Well, we did the boardwalk, we established a special committee just to work on that. Maybe some of these special...
But that wasn't the question. The board was definitely no doubt about it.
I'm just saying that maybe you need to have a committee that would be more focused on infrastructure such as roads, bridges, that would be under the ponds or so.
I think PPAC can give responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a separate entity just for that, but I'd throw it over to PPAC and it might come right back in my lap, but at least that's the way it will go. Okay? The next thing is just our GIS system professional services. Our portion of that contract is $30K. I think it's split between, not equally, but it's split between us, landscape, and safety and security. I think those each are 20K.
Yeah, 20K, just to clarify.
So
yes.
40 and 30, the total thing with Passerella is 70K.
50K.
So the
15, 20.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, ponds, and then 15 to landscape.
Well, but I thought the thing said 30
No, it's
somewhere in there.
It's the same as last year.
yeah, it's the same as last year.
Okay.
And
Let's see, where did I see 30? Right there. Financial impact.
20,000.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Must
20,000.
be my
Yeah,
eyesight.
yeah. No,
Well, inflation.
No. I don't, I will give a motion on this, that we do the GIS, and I'll let you talk about some of the changes that are coming forward. Is that what you wanted?
Oh, well, yeah, want the ticketing side?
Yeah. Okay, I got a motion to accept the 20K, our portion of the contract.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Second. Vote. It's 5-0. Okay.
I mean, it is a great site. It is very,
Yeah, super good.
really useful. Has a lot of very useful. I've referred to a lot of residents who had no idea that they could answer their own questions. You know, and sometimes create new questions.
It's very good for, how the flow of water between the ponds go. It's very good for the lake management, easement, and things like that.
Yes.
Bob Gephardt again, I'm a strong advocate of the GIS, but I'd be very interested to hear what Ed Hedges has to say about what are the challenges in the following year, whether we need this much money. It's a lot of money, and I think we're pretty stable right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Ed's opinion.
And the guy before that we had, I'm trying to think of his name.
Felipe.
Felipe. Felipe's coming forward all the time to say I can do this significantly less.
Well, yeah, but I don't know, I wouldn't, that's a whole other issue.
No, but I
I just
mean,
wonder about the tax.
what I'm saying is, we have not looked at the price of that since we started.
And Paul, there is an initiative within the district to have their own GIS. Maybe we've reached the level of maturity we like Burbridge. I don't know. $50,000 expense gets my That's all it is. So it's a direction for the people that are most intimately knowledgeable, which is the field.
And I say something to that just a second. I guess they changed Sheila that goes up and beats that brought up the fact that she went into the GIS system after some of the last changes, and it's more complex to use now because now it comes up with a view. The default view is of all of Gateway, and before it used to be just Pelican.
Well, there's two different ones.
Well, with that one
Passerella
sheet,
does Pelican. Gateway is doing it in-house. And Austin Manoli is handling it for Gateway in-house.
the Passerella thing changed, and I don't know if Gateway had anything
Paul,
that
maybe
staffed
you
in.
have knowledge of that. I don't know.
Yes.
They've been separate entities up till now.
Right. We do have a test authorization with Tetra Tech to see if we can merge that together. So they are working with Passerella to try to get that data. So at some point, we can have one system district-wide.
Okay, so ticketing wise, I can't get traction with Gateway. our ticketing system is last latent right now. I mean, I'm continually going in and telling Will, we've got to fix this, we've got to fix this, and then he does it, but it's at a cost. It costs $500 annually for us to have our license for that. And since last year, we've been told that we will be able to use C-Click Fix. I sat down and I gave all of our requirements to Daniel. He worked to incorporate them. Even as far back as last March, we were being told we will be rolling this out so we can get rid of this ticketing system. And it's crickets. And then the last thing that we had was, we're going to test this and we need somebody. And I said, pick me, and crickets. So I'm frustrated. Are we going to use C-Click Fix? Is it ever going to be available with a requirement that it's costing us money, it's costing me time? I don't have time. So let's move on.
Jim, what have you, because you went and seen the demo of the new stuff, correct?
Yes. So, I don't know, Stephanie, you want to review what we're working on?
Yeah, so C-Click Fix is a partner with Cartograph, and Cartograph is what Leslie and Austin have been putting together for the gateway side. I have used it, Cartograph, as a ticketing system for the pond. So when we have a pond issue, we send it through there. It goes to our contractor. Our contractor does the work, and we get a response. So it's worked really well for us. And then I showed Jim and a few others how it works, so they can start doing it on your side with wetlands and aeration and all that. So for you, you're talking about district-wide, just any issue.
No, I'm talking about ponds.
Oh. Okay.
So this is all news to me.
Okay.
Jim is engaged and
And it's
Right,
different
so
than
it's-
C-Click Fix.
Alan Harrell
different.
and I
It's
went for a review the other day. And they're building us in the system. It is a ticketing system that would, everything like that. Initially, it's going to be limited to specific people, like Harold does the conservation areas. We'll have aerators and fountains,
that they will be able to put the tickets in.
and they'll be able to put tickets in. The contractor will be automatically emailed. They will provide the email address that they want, how they want to be
Yeah.
notified.
Yep.
They will log in, they will update the ticket with prescribed fields, and then we in turn would get emails back that the ticket has been closed.
And then do we have the ability to double check to make sure that it's what we got loop?
Haven't started using it yet. We're in the process of getting built into the system. But as far as pulling, say if we were looking, I understand we can pull reports
Yeah.
to see, what's out there. If we don't have a large volume of tickets of pond walkers submitting tickets at this point, so it's not going to be onerous. What our initial way of doing it would be to have them contact me or Al Slickers to input tickets, and then if it becomes a volume, then we'll say, okay, there's 4 or 5 people that have ponds that are problematic that put in tickets. Let's include them in the ability to submit their own tickets.
So the summary is it is up, it is functional, it's being used.
By
and now we're
gateway.
expanding it out.
On the gateway side, we use it with our pond contractor. We have not, you guys have now taken on Superior, so I have to have Superior come in and roll it out to them and get them set up in the system as well.
Can a resident initiate a ticket?
No, you have to have a profile, so you have to set up.
That they would still have to go through the C-Click Fix, which is
Right. And if I could just also add, so residents are able to put a C-Click Fix, and it does migrate and integrate with Cartograph. What we started a few months back is an initiative to try to have a better accountability of our contractors. So Stephanie was working with Leslie to implement that, so where any issues that Stephanie identifies through her inspections or even residents' complaints, we're able to issue a ticket directly to the contractor, and then they're responsible for resolution. and then supposed to, give us a reply and close out that request. So, so talking with Chelsea, she said, well, if it's working well, and so far it has on the gateway side, so why don't we roll the same, system for Pelican, so you guys will have accountability for your contractor as well.
The quick fix, if my memory is correct, we want it to be a resident-initiated item. And when we were told about cartograph, that would be incorporated. Is that changing?
No, it's still the same. So
The
when
resident to be able to input the cartograph.
Through
Okay.
C-click fix.
through C-click fix,
Well,
yes.
we'll try to get away from C-click.
Are we?
No,
No, it's
Oh, I thought before, I thought the whole purpose.
no, C-click
What's that
fix
for?
is the gateway one, and so the Tom's ticketing one is the one he passed around. So that's when we try to get away from.
And I view Bob as a back-end system, but I mean a front-end system to the residents through C-click that integrates into this system,
Right.
and then
I don't know, no, get out of it.
you don't care.
I'm trying to get to one.
Yeah, exactly, that's our goal. Okay.
And
So-
yes, Cartograph is our system of record. That is what we work in. That's what we,
That's your asset management
yes,
system.
and also the requests that we receive from residents as well. So it's a one-stop shop for us. C-click fix is just kind of like a gate for residents to enter those requests, but Cartograph is the end-all. That's where this is one system that we utilize.
From talking about this, my take is the fact that it gives us the ability to you mentioned closed loop, and it's a closed loop process because an email goes back when that thing is closed, that today our system does not do. The other thing is you might be able to add multiple email addresses to that record. So an example, if Lou submits something through C-click fix, we might be able to, even if you are not authorized to input it into the tool, we might be able to add that email, Lou's email to that record, so that when it's fixed, it goes back to him to let him know that it's been resolved. See, I think it gives us a closed loop that we do not have today. I'm sure we'll have growing pains.
Oh, yeah.
The good thing for us now is we've got one vendor doing all of our maintenance on the ponds group standpoint. And once we integrate Superior into this, it's not like we have 3 different vendors and have to worry about that. And the decision tree of who to send that problem to is pretty easy when there's one.
Now, C-click fix, when a resident submits a ticket, when that is closed out, usually at this point, 2 of you goes in, and then the resident gets an email. They get a notification that it's done. Now, some of the ones that I've seen, some of them are valid complaints. Well, I don't want to say a valid complaint, but an actionable complaint. Not all of them are. Some of them are say I would have to go out and say that's not our responsibility. That's your HOA's responsibility. That level still needs to be done before a ticket gets generated automatically via Cartograph to a pond contractor, because we don't want them going out on tickets that aren't really their responsibility.
Anything from C-click fix would not go to a contractor. It would go to us, and then if you want to submit a task because you see that it should have
Right.
a
So
task,
it doesn't
then you would submit it.
Doesn't automatically
So you're
go.
going to take over the role that the ponds group technically has done and I've done on the ticketing system of reviewing the
Or it's forwarding it to me or done.
Yeah, it's going to us.
C-click fix.
It's going to us.
Okay.
And then we report the status back when it gets resolved. It's a manual process today with C-click. And then you have to rekey it into our ticketing system.
I'm glad you guys understand, you could use that.
No, well, there's too many moving parts, Bob. It's not one system.
All right.
It's
So-
multiple systems.
What I would say then is, please let me know when I can pull the plug on the other system. Because right now it's costing us and it's got, I'm spending time on it. I don't know.
We're trying to get this on the ground for October 1st. Are we?
As of as of yesterday, I think it'll have to wait till mid-October because
Okay.
Leslie's our in-house that does all the background work of it, and they are rolling out a lot of things right now
Okay.
internally, so it'll have to wait till mid-October.
And
But
So
That's
while
okay.
Al, Harold, and I went, Doug is going to need to go, and people who would be
Peggy,
submitting.
You told me.
No, I mean,
I
to
think
see
Peggy
the-
has a lot
to see
right
it.
now that she,
no, I mean to see the tool, that's all I'm
You know,
talking about.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to see it, I don't want to.
No,
you
I
know,
didn't say,
but, and we have to bring in the contractor. They take over October 1st. So shortly thereafter, we should have this up and
Yeah.
running. So
Yep.
it should be in another month, 4 to 6 weeks. We
Will
should
and I
be
are
able
getting
to.
together and having a drink.
Peggy,
So the end is in sight.
from my standpoint, I'm okay with pulling the plug today. And manually, it ain't that big a deal. We get a C-click fix. I forwarded that to Andy.
So if I.
Manually versus having to rekey it into
Well-
another ticketing system. And the thing is we wouldn't die if we pulled the plug a month early, is what I'm saying. Email would work to resolve the thing. It's going to get to Andy to resolve it as Superior.
I will tell Will that we're pulling the plug as of the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we're not going to be.
And if we're not ready,
submitting
we're hoping we're ready, but if we're not
Yeah.
ready, we're not going to stop doing maintenance on the ponds. We're still going to be able to send email.
We're not submitting anything to Solitude anymore, because in 2 weeks, nothing's.
You better not have to do anything anyway.
So,
And ticketing.
That's all we have on the, okay, you got
Can I just
something?
ask a question? What ticketing system were you using, Peggy? Because
It's within, it's a RISI, I think it is. It was a cobbled together system that we built off of their mapping system. And it went end of life last year, and so we're looking at a lot.
right, so I would agree that I think it'd probably be time to do the transition.
Yeah.
And in worst case scenario, I mean, we always communicate with Jim and Doug, Stephanie and I, so if there's any questions or any doubt or any gray area, we always talk to them.
there's not a large volume
Right.
of tickets, so
Right.
it'll be,
Right now it's very
we should be
short.
able to do it.
Anything else anyone have before?
One question, this goes back to the Pond 43 with next year. So this goes out, when this goes out to bid and we get the bids back, are we having a selection committee reviewing the bids that come back?
Chelsea told me the answer was no. There is no selection committee on this. That's what she told me. Because it's a construction, it's different than the maintenance contract. Even though it was a formal bid for the maintenance contract, the bigger one, you were able to do a selection committee, but since it's a construction project versus a maintenance project, there is no selection committee.
Because I know the first one,
Yeah. No, I know where we're coming.
we had input
Yeah.
and in making that decision-making process.
We need to make sure that we add some specs in there
Right.
to help us eliminate people that might not have the right references and things like that. And I think that needs to be built as here's how the criteria is going to be. We can still have criteria, it's just that the selection committee will not be able to vote on each individual thing by vendor.
Right,
But you can
because
still
I see
research it.
I saw the value of it with the
Yeah.
Ponds contract,
Yeah,
because if you strictly go by a
low bid.
low bid,
Yeah.
it doesn't always work out well.
That's why we got to add some.
And it's very hard to create a bid document that addresses everything to weed out, I created my company 6 months ago and it's me and my brother and, so
Yeah.
we're going to have a low bid.
But we
do
can
you
do-
have experience? How qualified are you? And how can you rate these qualifications against other bidders?
But Gateway's got to perform for this.
Yeah.
They're way ahead of us on this. We just gotta-
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Because I know,
this this is, it's new for us.
It worked out very well.
It worked out
with
perfect with the
Pon's contract,
stretching.
So I just would like to make sure that,
Yeah. If we use the gateway template, we'll be happy.
You know,
Right.
but here's the one you're talking, and I know we're almost up to an hour. The one we did on 36, it's more than just having reference. They had references, but they weren't in the area of pond bank restoration.
right.
That should have excluded them because they didn't have a reference for what we were asking them to do.
We learned a lot. from that.
We learned a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
And actually, the pond people still compliment on 36. We know what's under the water level. But on 36, most people are very pleased that on that pond, with the way that pond looks. All right.
So, and one last thing, any communication that goes out for Pond 43, that goes out to the community, if they do a survey, and please send it to myself and Doug first, because sometimes the verbiage needs to be adjusted to make it less
Owners.
Yes, onerous, good, well done. Especially with the lake management easement and anything encroaching.
Yeah.
You know, we did it on the last two, and I just like to
Yeah.
see it before it goes out.
That would be
Jim,
through
Jim,
Randy.
if you weren't aware of it, Peggy Zimmerman was not in communication with Trish.
Yeah, from
Point person for
PPAC,
feedback.
right.
So you're exactly right. If you and Ponds Committee work with Patricia,
And we
there'll
do.
be one document going out to the community.
Yep.
All right. Before we adjourn the meeting, I'd just like to announce something. Peter, is it okay to announce? Or you
Yeah.
wanna go, Ron? Peter is going to step down from some of the things he's doing because of the family, I'll call family, grandkids, be able to spend more time, which in the quality of life, that's pretty high on the list, you know what I mean, of things. And thank you for all your effort. And we'll work on a plan of what we do going forward.
Okay.
You got about 10 years, Pete, on this group, at least 10 years.
Yes.
He was there before me.
14.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
14.
very much.
The only negative thing I would say about Pete is when you stepped down and we were debating on who was going to take over the ponds group, I went to Pete first and said, do you want to be, remember Pete? I said, do you want to be the head of the ponds group?
Scared the hell out of me.
And he said no. And that's the only negative, is that's how I got here. If he just said yes, he'd have been up here talking and not me.
Pete, are you going to finish the consolidation of the feedback, of the Pelican, Standard, and the Gateway? You're pointing that right now, right?
Yes.
Or can you finish that? Or you-
We can give Mike.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's provided all his
Okay.
comments and everything on it. It's just
Our-
kind of
our-
being finalized.
I'm upgrading Pelicans.
I
Manual.
haven't asked him yet, but the person we will assign is Mike Causey, because he's pretty good at that type of detail. And I'm also looking at him doing all the drainage, street drains, and interconnect pipes and stuff like that. You know how much he went into
See, you
weeds.
know that he's not here.
Now we can approve him that he's responsible for that.
He'll come to a meeting.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
All right,
Second.
that's it. 5-0. Thank you. Okay. I didn't know if you were ready for that. Or you, well,